The train station. I always say that love is like public transport. You wait, you wait, you freeze in the wind, you check your phone 10 times, and then, finally, it comes. And of course, when it arrives, it is full of noise, strangers, and maybe someone spilling coffee on your shoes. But sometimes, if you are very, very unlucky, or lucky, who knows, you meet someone there who changes your whole life. That is what happened to me. It was a cold evening in November, the kind of evening when the sky is gray, the streets smell like wet leaves, and people hurry with their collars up as if they are hiding from the world. I was standing at the train station, waiting for my train to take me home. My day had been long and boring. Work was slow, my boss was loud, and my only plan for the night was to eat pasta and watch something silly. Romantic, right? But then I saw him. He stood a few meters away, also waiting for the train. He had dark hair, messy in that I don't care but actually I care a lot style. He wore a black coat, not new, but it looked like it had many stories to tell. He was reading a book. A real book, not a phone, not a tablet. Who does that anymore? And that detail alone made me stare a little longer than polite society recommends. And then it happened. He looked up. Our eyes met. And in that second, my life decided to start playing some dramatic soundtrack. You know the type. Slow piano, a little bit of violin, maybe even rain outside. It was ridiculous, because in reality, the only sound was a man behind us coughing like a tractor, and a teenager's phone screaming some horrible music. But my heart didn't care. My heart said, pay attention. This is important. Of course, I didn't listen to my heart immediately. I looked away. I'm good at that. Pretending I did not notice, pretending I was cool. But inside, I was not cool at all. Inside, I was 16 again, not 30. Inside, I was writing stupid poems about eyes and smiles. The train arrived, late as always. People pushed and ran, like this train was the last hope before the end of the world. I almost lost him in the crowd. For a second, I thought, well, that's it. He will disappear. Just another stranger I will never see again. And my heart broke a little for something that never even started. How dramatic is that? Yes, I know. But no, because when I stepped into the train, there he was, standing right near the door. And he smiled at me. A small smile, but enough. Enough to make my knees weak. Enough to make me believe in stupid things again. I stood next to him. Too close? Too far? I will never know. And for the next 20 minutes, we rode together. Two strangers, breathing the same cold air, holding on to the same noisy train. I wanted to say something, anything, but all I managed was silence. I was too afraid to break the moment. When my stop came, I almost cried. I wanted to stay. Also, I wanted the train to never stop, to take us to the end of the world, to some place where people don't need courage to speak. But I had to leave, and here is the part that makes me believe in fate, or in cruel irony. As I stepped out, he also moved. He got out at the same step. Coincidence? Destiny? A joke from the universe? I didn't know. But I knew one thing. This was not the end. This was only the beginning. And beginnings, as we all know, are dangerous. The walk people always imagine the beginning of love like fireworks. Big, loud, colorful. But sometimes it is more like walking next to someone in the cold, both pretending you are not freezing, both pretending you are not nervous. That night when we left the train together, it felt like the city had prepared a stage for us. The streetlights were yellow and soft. The road was wet and shining, and the wind pushed us in the same direction. He walked a little faster than me, but not too fast. Just enough to make me wonder if he wanted me to follow. I did, obviously. Cold night? He said suddenly. His voice was low, calm. Yes, I answered, trying not to sound like someone who had been waiting all her life for this moment. And that was it. Our first conversation. 2 words. Shakespeare would be proud. We walked side by side. I stole small looks at him, and every time I found something new. The way his hair moved in the wind, the way he held his book close, like it was something precious, the way he looked around, not like a tourist, not like a local, but like someone searching for something, or someone. Finally, he asked, "Do you live near here?" Yes, I said. Then, because my brain panics when it wants to impress people, I added, I live in an apartment, with walls and windows brilliant. Really brilliant. Future generations will write poems about my charm. He smiled, though. Not a polite smile, a real one. That sounds useful, he said. And then he laughed. I swear that laugh was warmer than my entire winter coat. We reached the corner where I usually turn home. My heart beat so loud, I was afraid he could hear it. I wanted to invite him for tea or coffee, or maybe a 3-hour discussion about life and destiny. But I stayed silent. I didn't want to look desperate, which of course made me look even more desperate. Then he surprised me. This is my stop too, he said. I live just around the corner. Coincidence number 2. Or maybe the universe was pushing us together with invisible hands. We walked the last few meters in silence. Every step felt like a promise. Every second felt like something heavy and beautiful. At his building, he stopped. He looked at me, not in a rush, not shy either. Calm, certain. Well, he said, good night. Good night, I answered. My voice was soft, maybe too soft. And then he did something completely insane. Something small, but for me it was like thunder in the sky. He touched my hand, just for a second. A light touch, like a question. Like he wanted to know if I was real. And before I could react, he disappeared inside. I stood there for a long time, looking at the closed door. My fingers still burning from that small touch. My head full of 1,000 questions. Who was he? Why did he feel like someone I had known all my life? Why did the city suddenly look different, brighter, more dangerous? I didn't have answers. I only knew one thing. I wanted to see him again. And I also knew this. Things that begin so strangely never end simply. The coffee. The next morning I woke up with a smile. That should have been my first warning. Smiles before coffee are dangerous. They mean your brain is already dreaming while your body is still half dead. And usually, dreams and reality are 2 very different things. I told myself it was nothing. Just a stranger. Just a short walk. Just a small touch. I told myself to forget it. Of course I didn't. My brain loves to ignore good advice. The day was ordinary. Office, emails, meetings where nobody listened, lunch that tasted like paper. But under all of it, my heart kept beating too fast, like it was preparing for something. And then in the evening, I saw him again. Not at the station this time. Not in some romantic rain. Number. I saw him in the cafe near my apartment. He sat by the window, the same book in his hands, a cup of coffee next to him, like some character from a movie. And I was the awkward extra who didn't know her lines. I stood outside for 2 minutes, arguing with myself. Should I go in? Should I just walk home and pretend I didn't see him? My heart screamed, go. My brain whispered, no. And in the end, my legs decided for me. They walked inside without permission. The bell on the door rang. He looked up. And when his eyes met mine, I knew this was not coincidence anymore. This was war. Hi, he said simply. Hi, I answered, trying not to trip over my own shoelaces. He pointed at the chair in front of him. Do you want to sit? Do I want to sit? No, thank you. I prefer to stand here like a lost umbrella. Of course I wanted to sit. I nodded and sat down. My hands were shaking, so I hid them under the table. We started to talk, slowly at first, about the weather, about the city, about how the trains are always late. Small, safe topics. But little by little, the conversation grew. He asked what I do, what I like, what books I read. And every answer from me was stupid. Or at least, that's how I felt. Still, he listened, really listened. His eyes didn't move away. His smile didn't fade. It was terrifying and wonderful at the same time. Finally, I asked him, "And you? What do you do?" He looked down at his book. He was silent for a second too long. Then he said, "I write." "Write what?" "Stories," he said. "About people, about love, about mistakes." I laughed nervously. "Sounds dramatic." He smiled. "Life is dramatic." Something in the way he said it made me shiver, like he knew something I didn't, like he had secrets in his pocket next to that old black coat. We talked until the cafe closed. Hours disappeared like minutes. And when we finally left, the city felt different again, like it was waiting for us. He walked me to my building. At the door, he stopped, the same calm look in his eyes. "Tomorrow?" he asked. I nodded. "Tomorrow." And just like that, tomorrow became the most important word in the world. In the end, our story was simple. No fire, no storm, no broken hearts. Just two people who found each other on a cold evening and stayed. We learned to drink morning coffee together, to share silence without fear, to laugh at small things. Love did not change the world, but it changed our days. And sometimes that is enough.